Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, time for Robbie Rants, and today we're going to be talking about Marvel Legacy. That's right everyone, we're going to be talking about Marvel Legacy in detail with full spoiler warning, spoilage, and all that stuff. So spoiler warning, this is your warning. I will be spoiling the stuff in this book, absolutely. First of all, let's get to the obvious DC Rebirth comparison. This is basically Marvel's answer to DC Rebirth. It thematically and even structurally, it does almost kind of rip off the structure of DC Rebirth. Exactly. You got somebody narrating this thing. It's about legacy and what have we lost, how do we get it back. They start threading this mystery throughout it, and then they reveal who the person is and all this and whatnot. So there's an obvious comparison. Plus, a lot of Marvel Legacy are pages that are leading into some of the upcoming titles from Marvel Legacy, some of the changes that they've made and are making to some of the titles. So just like DC Rebirth, it's structured exactly the same. It's kind of got the same, the same theme, the same purpose for existing, is basically to go back and find what worked before, take what's working now, and merge them together into a bold and brand new Marvel for the future. That's what the plan is. That's what DC Rebirth was. DC Rebirth was like super huge, so is Marvel Legacy. Marvel Legacy, however, is $5.99. DC Rebirth was $2.99 for the first print, which pretty much sold out immediately. All subsequent printings were $5.99. So it's very comparable to DC Rebirth, but also very different in as much as DC and Marvel are different, all right, just in and of themselves. So there you go. The story basically revolves around the mystery of this celestial, these god-like beings in the Marvel universe that are kind of almost responsible for a lot of like planetary evolution and superhuman biology and things like that, right? So there's one of them, and the Avengers from 1 million years ago are fighting them, and it's Odin, a Black Panther, a Phoenix, an Iron Fist, a Ghost Rider on a flaming woolly mammoth, which we did not get to see in the book, and that was highly upsetting. Agamotto, who is the Sorcerer Supreme, and a Starbrand. These are all characters that this legacy has been passed on down. Basically, there were Iron Fists before Danny Rand, and there were Starbrands before the kid that was introduced in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run. There were Ghost Riders before Robbie Reyes, Danny Ketch, and even Johnny Blaze, and even way before the guy on the horse, the original Ghost Rider from Marvel. Super cool stuff, right? So they're building this idea of legacy, and the legacy even goes back that far. And ultimately, Marvel's legacy does lie with the Celestials. Read books like Earth X, and you'll understand how important the Celestials are. Things like the Eternals from back in the day, the Jack Kirby stuff. So that's what's going on, is they're fighting this fallen. The Fallen is what they're calling it. This evil celestial who's trying to summon the final host. And it's this big bad, something's going to end all of reality, right? So it's another one of those things. So they're trying to fight these guys, and that's kind of real quick, and then they zoom fast forward, and now you got Starbrand and Robbie Reyes, the current Ghost Rider, and Starbrand is after Robbie Reyes, who just wakes up mysteriously in South Africa, which just so happens to be where this celestial is buried. So you got these archaeologists, they're digging in there. Starbrand does not want the celestial found out, the Fallen. He will awaken the final host, and the end of all things will come. So he's trying to kill Ghost Rider. And most of the issues, this big fight between them. And intermingled with this fight is Loki is trying to get something from a shield warehouse. Something's in a crate. The crate is labeled 4/1939. Don't really know what the 4 represents yet. Maybe I know, but the 1939 totally represents the beginning of Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics #1 came out in October of 39. Lots of good stuff in comics started in 39. So Loki has sent frost giants to find whatever is in this case. This is all mingled in with these different little tidbits of information about what's going to be happening in the books during Marvel Legacy and the launch. For instance, Wilson Fisk is running for mayor, and he's ahead of the polls. Deadpool is wanted for the murder of Bill Coulson. Tony Stark's body has just disappeared. Nobody knows where it is. Captain America is just out by himself, traveling across the country, trying to reconnect with his legacy. The Avengers, their history has been changed. Now there's a new mysterious character called the Voyager, who has apparently always been a founding member, and so something tricksy is going on there. And Black Panther, we find out that Wakanda has an intergalactic empire, a planet called Bast. Really crazy stuff, right? So lots of little interesting things are thrown in there. So the Avengers of 1 million BC, they defeat the Celestial. He's now buried under South Africa. That's where something is leading Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider towards, and what Starbrand's trying to stop him from finding. And you also find out that Stephen Strange, the current Sorcerer Supreme, and Danny Rand, the current Iron Fist, are also having these dreams and these memories of these past avatars from prehistoric days. Something is going to compel these beings towards this host, or towards this Celestial, who's trying to bring about the final host. Who is the final host? Seems obvious. Maybe it's something to do with the Phoenix. I think it has something to do with all of these powers. What if the host, the final host, would take the power of Mjolnir, the power of the Phoenix, the power of the Starbrand, the power of the Iron Fist, the power of the Black Panther, the power of the Ghost Rider, all these different legacies all into one? That would be a crazy, super powerful thing. I think that's where we're heading, but we shall see. Meanwhile, Loki sends the Frost Giants after this crate at this abandoned S.H.I.E.L.D. warehouse, or the S.H.I.E.L.D. warehouse that they're clearing out, because now S.H.I.E.L.D. is being disbanded post-Secret Empire. And basically, Captain America Sam Wilson, Riri Williams Ironheart, and Jane Foster Thor are there, kind of like the new incarnations of the big three from Marvel, are together fighting off the Frost Giants. One of them does manage to get away with the crate. Then he gets run over by a beer truck, and out steps Wolverine. The real Wolverine. The Wolverine that we have known and loved since, like, what, 74 or something like that? Wolverine is back. He kills the Frost Giant, opens up the crate. It's the blue Infinity Gem. My bad. Infinity Stone now, apparently, which should be the Mind Gem. So now Logan has one of these gems. Cut to Gamora. One just flagged up on my computer. Let's go hunt. It's a new Infinity War, a new hunt for the Infinity Stones, just like in the movies. So they're doing something with that too. Loki, not too bothered that he didn't get his chance to get this Infinity Stone, therefore goes and awakens this evil fallen Celestial. Dun dun dun! And the whole thing is narrated, kind of almost heavy-handed, about the legacy of the characters and how things, they're missing something, they got to get it back. Very similar to DC Rebirth, like I said, when Wally West, a forgotten character, was narrating that. You find out at the end of this that it's narrated by Valeria Richards, the daughter of Susan and Reed Richards, the parents of the Fantastic Four, basically, right? There's also a little bit drawn by Jim Chung leading into Marvel 2-in-1, and it's Human Torch and the Thing on top of the Baxter Building saying, do they even remember us? I feel like we're not even needed anymore. You can make a team alone just of Hulks or just of Thors. There's so many of these different characters now. And Ben says, who cares if they forget? As long as we don't, they will always need us. And he sends up the flare of the Thor. That's around the middle of the book, and it ends with Val and Franklin exploring universes. Valeria, through her narration, tells us that she wants to be back home. She wants to explore the Marvel universe, the proper Marvel universe, right? And she is imagining her way home, and she'll see us when she gets here. And it ends with the Four logo. So why did I love this book? Fantastic Four. I'm a huge Fantastic Four nut. Marvel hasn't been publishing a Fantastic Four book as kind of a snub at Fox because, you know, how dare Fox buy the movie rights to Fantastic Four and the X-Men movies and save Marvel from their bankruptcy in the late 90s. How dare they, right? But anyway, Fantastic Four, they're coming back. The seeds are now planted. They're not back, but they're coming back. Will it just be Ben and Johnny and Val and Franklin? That would be cool, but I would still want to see Reed and Sue. We got that image from Alex Ross I talked about in the weekly pop culture wrap-up last week. Lots of fun stuff. That's why I really liked it. Plus, guys, I like Old Man Logan and all that stuff, and I know it's only been about 2 or 3 years, but I miss Wolverine, and I want Wolverine back, and that's really cool. But I felt like Marvel owned their past, their present, and their future. I know a lot of people haven't been very pleased with Marvel lately. I think Marvel's been doing some good stuff. They've been doing some bad stuff. They've been doing some good stuff. This is how a comic book company is, right? So, to me, just business as usual. But a lot of people haven't liked the decisions they've made, but they're not undoing it. They're owning it. This is how it is. This is our legacy. They're basically kind of building the legacy that DC really started building in the Silver Age and on. Marvel's trying to do that. They have the staying power now. They have the decades of history behind them that DC had back then. I think it's a nice direction for the company, and I'm really excited for most of these books, and we shall see if the books themselves hold water. The books themselves in Marvel Legacy, it will either be good or bad. They're not going to all be great, But hopefully, I think these directions are pretty cool. I think a lot of fans should like this stuff. I'm super stoked about the Fantastic Four possibly returning back very, very, very soon. So let me know what you thought about Marvel Legacy down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to subscribe. I do a weekly comic book review every single Wednesday. Also, weekly pop culture wrap up. PCP Movie Nights, which is our review show, returning soon with Horror Fest. All Halloween horror movie type stuff for the month of October. So thank you guys for rocking with us. Please do like, share, and like I said, subscribe. We're nearing 1,000. Big contest when we do. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Keep on reading.